Hi all, this is the video answer key for the practice quiz covering fractions 4H through 4J. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is 4/5 minus 1/7. I need a common denominator for those, and a common denominator for 5ths and 7ths would be 35. Both of those will divide into 35. 5 divides into 35 7 times, so 4 times 7 is 28. 7 divides into 35 5 times, so we're multiplying by 5 here, multiplied by 7 here. 7 times 5 is 35, so 1 times 5 is 5. Then we do our subtraction. 28 minus 5 is going to give us 23. Bring our denominator over, and our answer should be 23/35, because we cannot reduce that at all. All right, looking at number 2, again, I need a common denominator. The 12 will serve as a common denominator here, so we aren't going to change that first fraction at all, but our second fraction needs to be changed to 12ths. So I can do that by multiplying both top and bottom by 3. 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 1 is 3. Then we're ready to add. 5 plus 3 is 8. Bring my denominator over, 12. Both 8 and 12 can be divided by 4. And so I'm going to do that. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I'm reducing my fraction by dividing both the top and the bottom by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so my answer here is 2/3. All right, 7/10 minus 3/10, I already have a common denominator, so I just need to subtract the numerators. So 7 minus 3 is going to give me 4. That's 4/10, but 4 and 10 are both even, which means they can be divided by 2. So I'm going to reduce this fraction to lowest terms by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5, so my final answer here is 2/5. All right, next one, 7/9 and 4/9. Again, denominators are the same, so we're going to add the numerators. 7 and 4 is 11 over 9. Now the problem with this one is that it's an improper fraction. The numerator is more than the denominator, and so I'm going to divide the 11 by 9. And 9 divides into 11 once, and then I've got 2 left over. That becomes my numerator. You may be able to do these in your head. You might say, okay, I know that 9 divides into 11 only one time. 11 minus 9 would leave me 2 for my numerator. Alrighty, on to number 5. We've got 5 and 4. Oh, I didn't put my answer in here. Let's do that. 1 and 2/9 is my answer on that one. Okay. I've got 5 and 4/5 plus 3 and 2/20. We're into mixed numbers now. And so I'm going to use 20 as my common denominator. So 5 times 4 gives me 20. 4 times 4 up here gives me 16. We don't have to change this fraction at all because it's already in 20ths. Add the whole numbers. 5 plus 3 is 8. Add the numerators. 16 plus 2 is 18. Check to see if I can reduce, and these are both even, so at least I can divide by 2. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9. 20 divided by 2 is 10, so that's 8 and 9/10. Alrighty. Looking at the next one, 7/8 minus 3/4. I am going to get a common denominator. 8 will work for this, so 7/8 doesn't have to change. I multiply top and bottom by 2 here to get 6/8. 7/8 minus 6/8 leaves me 1/8. That's a nice easy one. I like to circle my answers so they don't get lost in all my work. All right, number 7. 8 and 3/4 minus 2 and 3/8. Common denominator would be 8. So that means I don't have to change this fraction at all. I'm just going to change the first one, 8. 4 times 2 is 8, so 3 times 2 for the numerator is 6. Minus 2 and 3/8. Subtract 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 3, subtract the numerators, is 3/8. So 6 and 3/8 is my answer there because 3/8 cannot be reduced. All right, 9 and 2/7 minus 1 and 1/2. So I'm going to use 14 as my common denominator here. 14 is the smallest number that both 7 and 2 can divide into. So 7 times 2 is 14, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 7 is 14, 1 times 7 is 7. Do my subtraction. 9 minus 1 is 8. I can't, let's back that train up. All right, I can't subtract 7 from 4, so I'm going to borrow make this an 8, and I add the value of the denominator to the numerator, so this becomes 18. All right. 18 minus 7 is 11. Now we can do that over 14. And 8 minus 1 is 7. So 7 and 11 fourteenths, because we cannot reduce 11 fourteenths. Alrighty. 2 and 2/3 plus 5 and 7/9. I'm going to use the common denominator of 9 because both 9 and 3 will divide in. So 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 5 and 7/9. Add my whole numbers here, be 7. 6 plus 7 is 13/9. So 13/9, of course, is an improper fraction. 9 divides into 13 once, so we'll add in. So let's just, 13/9 equals 1. And 13 minus 9, then, the leftovers, would be 4. And so we'll add 7 and 1 4/9 to get 8 4/9 is my final answer, because 4/9 cannot be reduced. Alrighty, 6 2/5 plus 1/10. We're going to use 10 as our common denominator. Multiply by 2 in the denominator and numerator to get 4/10 here, plus 1/10. We get 6 5/10. 5 over 10, that can be reduced by dividing the top and the bottom by 5, and we have 6 1/2 for that answer. Okay. Last one. Raylene and Diamond are twins. Raylene weighed 7 pounds when she was born, and Diamond weighed 5 2/5 pounds. How much more did Raylene weigh than Diamond at birth? So we're looking at a subtraction problem here because we want to find the difference between the two. So we need 7 minus 5 2/5. We can't subtract 2/5 from 0, so we borrow, make this a 6, and the one we borrowed, we're going to call that 5 over 5 to make our subtraction here easy. So 5, because they'll have the same denominator, right? 5 minus 2 is 3. Denominator stays the same. 6 minus 5 is 1. And so Raylene weighed 1 3/5 pounds more than Diamond when she was born. All right, that's your practice quiz. If you got any of those wrong, try to go back over them, see what you did wrong so that you have that fixed up for the quiz that we'll be taking in class. See you then.